Welcome to the English Podcast.
For listening and speaking.
Hey, welcome. Today, we're diving into the language of connection. We're going to break down how friendships are actually built. You know, going from that first kind of awkward hello all the way to those deep, easy connections we all want. We'll look at the specific phrases, the little habits that really turn strangers into friends you can count on. So think about it. What is it that actually turns a stranger into a real friend? Is it just having stuff in common, or checking in every now and then? Or is it something more? A kind of specific language of connection that maybe we can all learn how to speak? That's the big question we're getting into today. All right, so our journey starts at, well, the beginning. Starting the conversation. And I know this can feel super intimidating, but here's the thing. It's a skill you can learn, not some special talent you're born with. We're going to start building our friendship toolkit right here, looking at how to break the ice without that cringy, awkward feeling. First off, the environment you're in plays a huge role. Look at the left side here. Things like community classes or group activities. There's already a built-in reason to talk to each other, right? It's natural. Now compare that to the right side, trying to strike up a conversation out of the blue in a loud bar or with a total stranger on the street. So much harder.
So how do you actually start in one of those easier settings? Well, this brings us to our very first tool, the gentle opener. And no, this isn't some cheesy pickup line. It's just a curious, open-ended question about the thing you both share, the environment around you. The reason it works so well is that it's an invitation, not a demand. It's super low pressure for everyone involved.
Let's look at a few examples. See how they're all pretty simple, practical questions? Asking for a recommendation on food or a market invites someone to share a little story, an opinion, not just give you a yes or no. It instantly opens the door for a real conversation to start. Let's just play this out. Imagine you're in a coffee shop. You turn to the person sitting nearby and just ask this. It's friendly, it's not intrusive, and it's about a shared interest. Simple. And look at this response. It's so warm and genuinely helpful. They don't just answer the question, they give you extra info, a little detail that gives you more to talk about. And just like that, with one simple exchange, you've built a tiny little bridge between two strangers.
Okay, so you've broken the ice. Now what? Because a single conversation is great, but the real magic is in turning that little spark into a reliable connection. This part is all about how we build trust, not with big, grand gestures, but through small, steady rhythms.
This right here, this is the fundamental rule. You can forget about the big, flashy, once-a-year moves. Real, solid trust is built by stacking up tiny, everyday acts of reliability. It's showing up when you say you will. It's sending that article you promised. Every single time you do that, it's like adding another brick to the foundation of a really strong friendship. And this timeline shows you exactly how that works in the real world. Look, it starts with something so small, a simple invitation to sit together. That one-time act then becomes a weekly ritual. And that ritual creates a safe, reliable space where you can start having deeper conversations. And before you know it, after a couple of months, that consistency has built real, dependable support. It's a chain reaction of small, kept promises. Here is another incredibly powerful tool for your toolkit that helps build that trust. It's what we call the no pressure phrase. Honestly, it's like a magic spell. When you invite someone to do something, just adding a little "but no pressure if not" gives them a totally graceful, guilt-free way out. And here's why that's so important. It creates emotional safety. It sends a clear signal that you respect their time and their energy. It lets the friendship grow at a natural, unforced pace. This is how you go from being acquaintances to real friends without anyone ever feeling trapped or obligated. All right, let's wade into some trickier waters. Friendships often cross cultures, and that means we have to navigate a bunch of different unspoken rules. The key here isn't about being perfect. It's all about being curious and handling things with a little grace.
This table makes a really important point. Neither of these styles is right or wrong. They're just different. The goal is never to judge, but just to observe and, if you're confused, to ask clarifying questions. Using soft language like, in my experience, or asking, so what's the usual custom here, shows respect and a real desire to understand. So here's how you could actually put that into practice. A simple, polite question like this one helps you figure out those unspoken rules. It's totally practical, and it saves everyone from that potential awkwardness of you showing up way too early or way too late. When you're in doubt, just remember, curiosity is your absolute best friend.
So once that trust is there, friendships have a chance to get deeper. But moving into that next stage, well, it takes more than just fun conversations. It requires real honesty, clear boundaries, and yeah, knowing how to repair things when they inevitably go a little sideways.
This is just a perfect example of how to set a boundary. Notice what's happening here. It's not a rejection at all. It's a clarification. The person affirms the friendship, I love long conversations, while being honest about their own limits. And then they propose an alternative that does work.
And this is why setting clear boundaries is actually one of the kindest things you can do for a friendship. When you explain your needs, you stop your friend from feeling ignored, and you stop yourself from building up quiet resentment. It actually makes it easier and healthier to stay connected. But of course, we all mess up sometimes. This slide gives us a super clear 3-step guide for how to fix it. First, just own your part, no excuses. Second, validate how they're feeling. And third, work together to come up with a small, practical fix for the future. This approach doesn't just solve the problem, it actually makes the bond between you stronger. Okay, this question right here, it's a total game changer. Think about it. How many times have we jumped in with solutions and ideas when all our friend really needed was for someone to just listen? By asking this question up front, you're offering them the exact kind of support they actually need, and that is one of the deepest signs of respect you can show in a friendship. And finally, let's talk about how to make these connections last. How do we keep these important friendships going in the middle of our crazy, busy lives? Well, again, it's not about the big gestures. It's about the incredible power of tiny, steady rituals.
This slide really shows the difference. On one side, you've got the grand gesture. It's dazzling, sure, but it's high effort and it doesn't happen very often. On the other side, you have the tiny ritual, a weekly voice note, a recurring coffee date. These things are low effort, but they create this consistent, steady rhythm of connection and comfort that is so much more powerful over the long haul.
And that really brings us back to the main idea of all of this. Friendship isn't something you just find by accident, like a 4-leaf clover. It's something you build, piece by piece, with every small promise you keep and every little moment of consistent care you show. So, as we wrap things up, I want to leave you with this question to think about. Which small promise will you keep this week? Maybe it's that text you've been meaning to send, or a quick 15-minute call you can find time for. Because in the end, it's those tiny, steady actions that build the friendships that really do last a lifetime. Thanks for exploring this with me.